What's up everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I really want to talk to you about my weight loss journey and how I made it sustainable. So what I want to start off with from the beginning, and my story does involve a lot of fluctuation, and it involves an eating disorder, and it involves a lack of self-love, unfortunately. But you know, it's made me who I am today, and I've honestly have grown so much and I've learned so much from it. So if I can reach out and inspire anybody else, I mean, that would just mean the world to me. I would love to help other people who are struggling. Back in middle school is kind of when everything started, but I wasn't super aware of what was going on exactly. You know, typical teenager, I just didn't really feel super secure in my body, and I was always trying to change things. I was always changing my hair, I was always changing, like I had piercings and stuff like that. Like I definitely tried to alter my look, and you know, I didn't know anything about like working out. I had PE class and I hated it. But you know, that's where it started, and I think that, you know, most people experience this and go through things like this, and you know, carrying on through high school, like it never really left, and I definitely always felt like I was, you know, trying to fit in, and like, who was pretty, what were they doing, what did they look like, blah blah blah. And junior year was definitely the start of my eating disorder. I mean, I think technically it started way back in the day, but where it actually became something physical and got really bad. And you know, a lot of people who tell their story, everybody's story is different, and everybody is so unique. We're all the same, and yet we're so different. We've all shared the same emotions, but we're different humans, right? So, you know, my story got really, really bad in junior year, and I was dealing with purging, and it got to the point where I felt like I had no control. And a lot of people with eating disorders say that they felt control. Like that was the only thing that they could control in their life. And unfortunately for me, I felt like I was spinning out of control. And I ended up going into counseling and getting help with that. The eating disorder came back, and I didn't really know it was there. I honestly didn't really know I was dealing with it until even just like a couple years ago. So I was like, oh, I don't have an eating disorder, but like looking back at everything that happened, and like the thoughts that I was having and the type of things that I was doing to myself, like absolutely, it was absolutely an eating disorder. And I was able to work through it, you know, within the recent years, like deal with why I felt that way. And I definitely started packing on the weight after that. And I again, I had no self-control. I was just eating, and I really liked to party, so I really liked to drink, and you know, I was just super, super unhealthy. And you know, we spent a lot of days on the river, so I spent a lot of time in a bikini, and gosh, you know, I hated it. I hated every second, and I just tried to fake it. I was like, fake it till you make it, like, and I'm just gonna get drunk, and I'm not gonna care what I look like. I'm just gonna, you know, whatever, I'm gonna hide it. And it really on the inside ate me alive. And 2012-ish, 2013-ish, I hopped up all the way up to 145, and that sits differently on everybody. My frame, what I like carry healthy, is probably 119, 120. So for that on my frame, it was super unhealthy, and it was a lot of fat. And you know, I dealt with it every morning. I woke up and I hated my life. That sounds so superficial, like, yeah, I had weight on me, I hated my life, but literally those are the kind of thoughts that went through my head. And you know, that's when, you know, the second eating disorder kind of came into place, and I stopped eating and I just tried to stay really, really busy. It also helped that I was going through kind of a traumatic breakup, so I definitely wasn't hungry. And you know, I think I only ate like Costco muffins. I was in college, and Red Bulls and vodka. Like, that was it. So still super unhealthy, but I got really, really, really skinny. And I was so happy with it. Like, I just remember being like, oh, finally, like, I look the way I want to look, and this is how I want to stay, so I can't eat because otherwise I'm going to gain the weight again, right? And that's the thoughts that went through my head, unfortunately. And I didn't express it. I didn't talk to anybody. I think some people who were close to me kind of were aware that I was so tiny, but maybe they didn't connect the dots either. And I wouldn't expect them to. I mean, this is a lot, like, these kind of things are things that we battle with ourselves. And a lot of times when these things are a problem, like, we don't make them super noticeable. We try to like keep it under wraps, like everything's fine. And you know, I got to like 108 pounds. And I mean, I was so skinny, and I was so proud of it. I did a lot of running, and yeah, I just barely ate. And the funny thing is that I still wasn't happy. And I was like, you know, this is what I've always wanted. This is literally perfect. I'm literally the size I want to be. And yet deep down, I was still so unhappy. What? That's insane. And yeah, that happened for a while. Maybe like I was that skinny for a couple of years, and it ended up going the complete opposite way. I definitely tried to stay that tiny, and I ended up like started working out. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I tried, and I kept running because I was just trying to like stay skinny. Like, that was like my like motto. I was just so obsessed. I want to be skinny. I just want to be tiny. I want to feel petite. I want to be a little baby, right? And so I started going to the gym, and I was just having such a hard time keeping the weight off. And I started gaining a little bit of weight, and it just blew my mind way past this obsessive feeling of like, okay, I no longer have any control of this. Like, I can't stay skinny, and I definitely I didn't know how to like fuel my body. I didn't know how to eat properly. I was very stressed out between the job and just, you know, being whatever. I was like 18 or something, you know, somewhere around there. And I ended up gaining a lot of weight, and I ended up drinking a lot more. I started dealing with really bad acne, and I was just trying to suppress like this like depressed feeling that I was feeling. I'm like, no, Lauren, you're such a happy person. Like, I have to maintain this vibe. And I ended up putting on a lot of weight. And, you know, I just was like, you know, thick girl, whatever. Like, I just tried to brush it off. But deep down, I wanted to be that skinny again. Like, I wanted to be that tiny, and I tried to force myself to stop eating as much, you know, instead of learning how to incorporate a healthy lifestyle. But it wasn't super familiar to me, you guys. So, like, I didn't really know anything about it. Like, I went to the gym, I tried to eat little portions, I tried to not eat as much in general. I tried to jack up the cardio so hard, and it just felt like I was going nowhere. And I almost got to a point where I just like gave up fully and was just like, you know what, like, I'm gonna accept my fate, this is it. And it was just not a happy place. Like, it was really hard. So my whole life I've kind of dealt with this fluctuation of being like too skinny and then too big. And it's like these demons that I battle inside my head, and I'll tell you what, I'm not 100% cured. Like, it's something that I'm always going to deal with. I will always have these types of obsessive thoughts, but I try to use them to my advantage and put them towards healthier things and not be cruel to myself anymore. So in 2016, that was when I made some really big changes. I was so tired of living this like up and down life, and I was like, something has got to change. Like, I am just gonna commit myself and see what happens. I'm gonna start doing some research, and I'm just gonna try I'm gonna really try to like put my head down and like get to it. Like let's see what I can do, right? And around that time, I met a guy who was super into everything that I was into, and really, like, honestly motivated me a lot. I mean, nothing like a hot guy to motivate you, right? And I really started like doing my research, and that's when I started getting into nutrition. And when I say start, it was start, like the beginning. I had no idea how nutrition worked. Nobody showed me. I've never been in like any kind of like sport that like showed me how to eat. I've never, I never was around anybody who was in that active lifestyle like that. A lot of my friends were partiers, and that's fine. And I just had to self-teach. And that's when like I noticed like a huge change physically. I changed my entire life. Like, I changed everything that I was doing. I really stopped partying. I stopped drinking, and I committed myself every day. I was like, I'm gonna show up for myself every single day. And that's when, the changes just started to happen. And I was like creating this body that was something that I always desired, but I didn't realize I desired, because I started lifting weights. And I was like, no, I always wanted to be skinny. Like, I don't want muscle, and I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, a booty would be cool, but I don't know. And like, the weights changed my life. I ended up getting into jiu-jitsu, and I also started doing strength and conditioning for jiu-jitsu. And that coach really helped me get past through some mental blocks that I was dealing with. And that's when I really realized that I wanted to be a voice to other people, and I really wanted to lead and inspire others, maybe who had a similar story, maybe a different story, but we're still looking for the same sort of outcome. And that's when I really dove into like personal training and like being a coach, and really wanting to help others feel the best about themselves, like to see a different side of themselves that they've never seen before. And I'll tell you what, the biggest secret to sustainable weight loss is definitely not obsessive thoughts. It's definitely not a whole bunch of cardio. It's definitely not a freaking tea or some kind of sugary drink that you only drink. It's a mind, body, and spirit transformation. It's about showing up for yourself even when you don't want to. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is like a tiny thing, you guys. Motivation comes from results, and how are you gonna get results? You gotta put the work in, and you have to be willing to change everything you're doing. If this is something that you really want, you want to change, like, it's not just gonna happen physically, it has to come full circle. So you have to be willing to commit yourself to changing the way you think, to changing the way you eat, to changing the way you drink, to changing your entire routine. And I'll tell you what, if you do that, you will see the changes that you want to see. I promise you. That's what it takes. Those are the steps it takes. I wish that somebody would have told me that so long ago. But again, you know what? It made me who I am today. And that's why I'm here helping other people. Like, I'm trying to be that person who reaches out and inspires you. So if you're struggling to keep that weight off, like, do a self-assessment. Like, what kind of lifestyle are you living? Are you doing more good than you are harm? Are you constantly cruel to yourself? Because I'll tell you what, people don't want to like think about like the mental part of things, but the mental part of things are so important, almost more important. Because if you tell yourself something over and over and over again, you're gonna believe it. So it's time to start changing the way you talk about yourself. What do you put out into the universe? Do you tell yourself that you're fat? Do you tell yourself that you're ugly? Do you tell yourself, I'm this, I'm that, I'll never be this, I'll never be that? Nope, it's gotta stop. You gotta start saying the good things about yourself. I am working on myself. And for those who really want to work on self-love, it's an every single day thing. It is absolutely possible. But yeah, you gotta show up. You gotta show up every single day. It's an everyday thing. weight loss, especially weight loss, and especially gaining muscle too. You know, you can't just like half-ass the work and like get this, like expect this major result. You're gonna get half-ass results. You're gonna start fluctuating. You're half committed, you're 1 foot in, you're 1 foot out. Like, that's the results you're gonna get. Like, you can't expect miracles to happen like that. But you commit yourself, give yourself a 6-month time frame. Change everything about your life. You don't need that drink. You don't need to go out and party. You don't need to eat junk food. Give yourself what it deserves. Try it for 6 months, and if you tell me that nothing's changed, well, I don't know. That would be insane, and I would love to chat with you one-on-one. So, regardless, we can do anything that we put our minds to, but we have to ask ourselves, how badly do we want it? Is it something that we really want? And I think it is something that you really want. So I hope that this helps. I hope this inspires you. If you need help, please reach out. Like, this is what I do for a living. I love helping people. So if you're struggling to make these lifestyle changes, like, let me know. Send me an email, send me a message. I'm here for you. We can set up a time to chat. And yeah, I would just love to help you be the best version of yourself. All right, y'all, stay tuned. I got more coming for you, okay? Have a great day.